Hi there, welcome back here, guys. In last few lectures, we have been working with the generic types. In our specific case, we have created a logger, and the generic type T extends the person, and the default value is a car. It's a little bit mixed up everything, so in this lecture, we'll continue with a little bit recapitulate, and I will show you that you can do the same stuff also with the types and also with the interfaces. Okay, so let's remove a couple of things here. I will remove here type car class business person. I will keep here student, but I will change it for interface, use it for a change. I will call it interface. You will remove these properties from here and also from here. I will get here one issue here because you cannot implement interface, okay? So the interface cannot be implementing other interface. We will see the interface declaration cannot have an implements clause. What we'll do, we'll just write here extends instead. And I will provide here age will be a number. Okay, so now my interface student is defining two properties, the age and a number, because it's an extending person. So this, you can imagine this name is provided here. This is by the default when you are extending something. So we don't need to write here now explicitly name. It's already provided through the extends. Also, I will remove the logger here. We don't need any logger, and also from the play, we'll remove this. So again, very simple file. We have here only two interfaces, person, student, which extending person. Now I will write here first generic type. Okay, I'll write here type simply. I'll call it student info. Okay, as before, pointy brackets. When you want to define a generic, let's say type T, which will be extends student. All right, and the default value is student. Okay, so my generic type, and let's say it will have a data of type T, and also grades, which will be number array. Okay, and now I will create a new function in my function play. Let's write here function. This will be called log student. I would like to log student info. I will get here log student info, and as an argument, we'll define here info, which will be of this type student info. Okay. So now I can write here console log, and since I'm getting here student info without defining any generic here, my data type here will be student. Okay, so I can console log here info dot data. You can see data dot, and now I can access here age or number. Age or not the age or number, age or name. Okay, because my data and student info is a generic type T, but a generic type T is extending student, and when no value is provided here in student info is a student. So my generic type T is a student, so you can imagine my student info is basically this. All right, if I wouldn't provide here any generics. Okay, that's basically my student info. And since the data is a student type, on the student I can have a name and the age, because my student has the age and also name from the interface person, which we are extending. Okay, so I just want to make it clear so we can write it also this way here. Maybe in this case a little bit redundant, but in some cases it will be very helpful to provide this type of a syntax. Okay, so we have here student info, and we can console log here info data name and also age. And now when I will call this log student info, I can call it only with the informations, which will be providing data and the grades, and the data will be student itself. So now I can write here, I can create here variable const info, which has to provide what we have to provide, name and a grade. So we need to provide data, and the data has to provide a student. Okay, this is this type T generic, and the student has provide age and a name. So I need to provide here data, name. All right, age 30, and also what I'm missing here. I'm missing here grades. So grades. Okay, like this. And now I can get here info, and info will be called. If I will now get rid of some properties, age, for example, I'm getting here immediately error because I'm not defining here data. Okay, I'm not defining here age. I'm grades, getting here error. Okay, let's revert this. And if you would like to make optional parameters, of course you can do so. You can write your question mark in the front of this. And now when I will remove grades, everything will work as before. I don't need to have provide grades because grades are optional. But let's not make them optional in this case, okay. Okay, but when I will decide, my info here will be not of a type, it will be type of a student info, but the type T generic here will be not student, but I will decide here to do something else here. Let's write here interface. It will be, let's say, not new interface of a postgraduate, I don't know how to spell it, graduate. Okay, postgraduate student. Okay, let's write it like this. It will be new interface. When you're writing interface, you're going to write here equal sign. Okay, and I will decide, okay, my student info will be not just a by default student, but it will be type of the postgraduate student. We'll cross here a couple of issues. First issue here is a postgraduate student doesn't extend the student because student is implementing the name and the age, but my postgraduate student is missing these two ones. So if I want to, in the first place, use here my postgraduate student, I need to do following. I need to define here name. I need to define here age. This will get me rid of this first issue. Now I can use here postgraduate student. I can simplify it, and I can simply say here my postgraduate student is extending person. This way I can get rid of the name because it will be provided from the person. This simplified a couple of things. And if I want, now I can add here some more. So I can write here the postgraduate student doesn't have an age only. It will have also whatever you want. So it can have, let's say, projects, which will be string array. Okay, and more properties you want to define here, of course you can. So now when I will define here postgraduate student, I can also get here console log info data and the project. So now I can add here one more. When nothing is provided, by default is student here. In this case, getting error because student doesn't, of course, provide a project. So that's the other way how you can use. Now you can see we can use the generics also in the types. And the same way I could write here the same as with the interface. So I can comment this out. I can do exactly the same here. Same thing with the interface like this. I can remove this part here and everything will work as before. Okay guys, so just inspect this file. If something is not clear, of course, let me know. I know these things can be a little bit confusing, so please make sure you understand them right. Basically, this is just playing with the names, and you need to imagine what values you are getting replaced at T with. Okay, so we need to provide here only the types that are extending the student, so they're providing the properties of the student providing. And in this case, we can provide it. If you're not providing here anything, the default T type will be student. So here, this will be replaced with a student in this case. If the type T is postgraduate student, as we are providing here, then student info will be like, the student info will be like this, right? Okay, I'll revert this. And that's the whole science. So let's continue in the next lecture. Again, more generics. See you there.